to say, parents too, we need to lead a very good examples for our kids. You go to some household. I was discussing with some ministers of God that day, and you will see some. So you go to some household, you will see the mother and the father. They will sit down and be drinking alcohol with their kids. They'll be drinking alcohol in the same house with their kids. I have seen it. And at the end of the day, you see that these children will go outside there and start committing crime. And they will say, "Oh, we don't know what is going on. We don't know what is going on." It is it starts from the home, because even in the Bible, it said the first unit of life is the family. The family is the first unit of life, where you have the mother, the father, and the extended and the nuclear family. And if a child sees these things up in the society, in the community, in the house, where you see a mother will be drinking alcohol with their adolescent children, will be smoking daha with their adolescent children, they pick up all these bad habits and they exhibit it. And at the end of the day, they join into crime. And at the end of the day, they end in prison. And what we don't understand is that if you do not train your children well, they will come back and disgrace you. If you do not train your children in the right manner, that's why the Bible says that train up your child in the good way, so that when they
Yeah,
grow up,
Mr.
they
H,
will not
Mr. H,
go from.
Mr.
Yeah,
H, wait. What
yeah,
you just said,
yeah,
what you just said sums
yeah.
up everything both you and Pastor Finch have been saying. What you just said, you sum it up because you see, sometimes I don't know if you follow me when I go on live on Instagram. I'm always hard on how you should raise your children. And I keep telling parents, your children are not your friends. They're technically not your friends. When you've raised them properly and they are above 18 and they are standing on their own, then they can become your friends. But at that time, while they are under your legal supervision, you are there to set standards, train them, discipline them. Very, very important. There's no culture, I don't, except from Western culture now, that allows for parents to allow their children to do whatever you like and expect government to raise your kids. It's crazy. All the people in prison, they are all products of bad, not majority of them, not all of them. Sorry, I don't want to give an absolute statement, but majority of people you find in prison are people who didn't know any better. They were allowed to operate freely and do whatever it is they like without consequences. You need to start teaching a child what consequence means. You do wrong, you get the result instantly. If your child already understands that if he or she misbehaves, there's going to be a punishment for it or consequence, there's the likelihood that they'll think thoroughly before they do something crazy. And this is what we're lacking in society. The media is teaching us that we should allow our kids to do whatever they like. That that if you punish them, you are bullying them. How can you be bullying? And when you don't do this, at the end of the day, prison is calling, jail time is calling, the police will be there. So this is why we are here to have this discussion. But continue. Sorry, it's just what you said really touched me because it's something I wanted to point out. You can continue,
Yeah.
Mr. H.
So that's why the Bible train up the child in the way of the Lord, so that when the child grows up, the child will not deviate from it. Because all this habit that you see on the street, they are picked up by in the family. When it's very, 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 very sad. It's very, very, very sad when like what we used to know, when we used to know when we were growing young. You don't talk when your parents are talking. You don't sit down. You get up. You don't look your parents in the eye. Those are the discipline that we were brought up with, and that is what has been in us, and what has been in us since when, and it's helping us now. I have a two daughters, and now I know how to nurture them. I know when to tell them to stop, to sit down, to do this and to do that, because I learned it from my parents that if as a child you need to be corrected and you need to follow the pattern. So most of this bulk of this blame needs to go to the parent. Oh, you can go to the juvenile section where you have children as young as 9, 8, 10 in the juvenile detention, and you begin to ask yourself, what are these kids doing here? They say no, he joined bad gang, he's smoking, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing that, and you begin to ask yourself, where do these children learn all this from? They say no, he was staying with his father, and his father too used to smoke, and that is where he learned it from. So my own take on the matter now is that we as individuals in our families, we need to bring our children well properly so that they don't end up in prison. Because at the end of the day, if they end up in prison, they are bringing the bad names into the family. Let me give you an example, and let me tell this little story to so that it will be a warning to everybody. I used to have a friend that goes in and out of prison all the time, and I will always advise this guy. I'll tell him, look, your parents is rich. Why are you always finding yourself in prison? And because his parents were rich, his father worked for the betting company, and his father was always providing money. The father bought him a car, but he was naughty. He will go and steal purses, he will steal phones from people walking on the street, and the parents will go back and buy the phone, and the boy will be out. Like maybe 5, 6, 7 times. And this guy told me something one day. He said, look, in the whole of Western Cape, I am the best one, and I'm supposed to pay for the this. I was thinking, why is this guy wasting his life? Because his parents were aiding and abetting him unconsciously, because they were rich. When he goes and steals somebody's wallet, they go and pay. And he continued doing that, and he continued doing that. And did you know what happened? He went to Cape Town train station, and he went to rob the train driver in Cape Town. And the Cape Town train driver took out a gun and shot him dead. That is how he lost his life. And when they wanted to go to the court, and the police, the government, the Western government, the government said, there is no case. These people come here and they rob our train driver all the time. So we have advised our train driver to arm themselves, to get a gun so that they can protect themselves from these thugs. And they came to, on one of these occasions, they came to rob the train driver, and the train driver took out his gun and killed. That is how that young man died. That is how his dream died. That is exactly what we are saying. Because his parents were aiding and abetting him. Because the parents could not put him on the right path. They were soft on him. And at the end of the day, he had to pay for his life.